Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome here at Design Zentrum Hamburg. My name is Daniela. I'll be your host tonight. Actually, I'm last minute filling in for Simon from nextReality, who fell sick today. And of course, we hope that he'll get better soon. But bear with me, I will absolutely exploit his notes for tonight. So be patient with me. Very, very warm welcome to our online community as well, who is joining us on YouTube somewhere in the world. We're very happy to have this hybrid event, and we are, of course, happy to have all of you guys here and have an event in person where we can see you, where we can talk to you later. So, without further ado, we have a terrific panel for tonight. We will be talking about the future of fashion in extended reality. And for our panel tonight, we have Lisa Liedtke from the Fabricant, Nino Dramis from UberNerd, Helen Brunette from Vestec Pro from Québec, and Michelle Zampa from Perfectly. So, of course, there are some thanks to give here, and of course, we're very grateful for the Design Zentrum Hamburg for providing us with this wonderful location here in the heart of the city. And we are very grateful to the Senatskanzlei Hamburg for helping us out and providing us with some foods and drinks for tonight. And of course, this event is brought to you by nextReality.Hamburg. We're a non-profit organization who strive to connect people in every form or color of extended reality, and to build a community and to help people to connect, to find, to find like-minded spirits, and to share our passion for extended reality. And, of course, last but not least, we are very grateful to the Quebec Government Office of Germany, and I want to welcome on stage Nicole Kofu, who's here and who has a bit to share for us. Please join me.
Dear Daniela, dear guests, the Quebec Government Office in Germany is very pleased to be able to join nextReality at the Design Zentrum here in Hamburg today for this event, as you said, on the subject of fashion and XR and its future and its relation and synergies. So we will welcome today experts from the fashion, the design, the tech sector to explore the question of the significance of fashion in virtual space. Quebec is one of the pioneers in the sector of immersive and interactive technologies, has a very dynamic and active digital art scene, extended reality scene. And the scene is very often entering into collaborations with other sectors, including fashion, fashion designers, fashion businesses, research institutions, as we will see today. And therefore, we are very pleased that today's event takes place, where, as you already said, we will explore the question of the meaning of fashion in the virtual space, but we will also talk about the influence of new technologies on fashion, its production, its presentation, its marketing. And in this context, we are very happy to welcome two guests from Quebec this evening virtually, Hélène Brunet from Vestec Pro and Michelle Zampa from Perfectly. So a warm welcome to you in Quebec. warm welcome here in Hamburg. There are already close and fruitful relations between Quebec and Hamburg in different sectors, in the economic field, but also in different cultural sectors. And I can say that Quebec attaches great importance to the cooperation with Hamburg, and also its deepening in the next years. And this is why we are at the moment working on the establishment of a strategic partnership between Quebec and Hamburg. And in this context, we are working with different partners, especially with the Senate Chancellery in Hamburg, which, as you already mentioned, supports this event today, and which is represented by Audrey Nagel. So a warm welcome also from my side to Mrs. Nagel. And yeah, we just want to thank all of our partners, especially the Senate Chancellery, for the excellent and fruitful collaborations over the last years, and I hope also in the future. And now I wish you a very interesting evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now, please give a very warm welcome to our two panelists who are actually here, to Anna and Nino. Please join me on stage. And of course, a warm welcome to our panelists from Quebec. Of course, all of you are experts in your field, and you can make your introduction so much better than I can. So I would say we'd start with Hélène. Is it right now? I'm sorry for butchering your name earlier. We have a short introduction, which should be visible on screen for you. Yeah. And hi, now I can see you. So please introduce yourself. We are very, very excited to hear from you.
Yes, well, thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you, nextReality, for welcoming Vestec Pro to this event. I think I will share the screen. I will show you a PowerPoint that I prepared for the occasion. Please let me know if you can see it.
Yes, perfect.
Excellent. So first, I will introduce Vestec Pro very shortly. And after that, I will tell you a little bit about how technology is very much present in most of our activities. So to start with, Vestec Pro is a research center. We specialize in apparel. We are a non-profit organization subsidized with public funds from both provincial and federal government. And as such, we are known as a CCTT, which means Collegial Center for the Transfer of Technology. And we are also known as a TAC, a TAC, which goes for Technology Access Center. So one recognition is from the Quebec government and the other one from the federal government. Vestec Pro has been collaborating with the fashion and garment industry for the last 10 years, a little bit over 10 years. And as such, we accompany them in the development of innovative clothing, products, and processes. And we try to do it as much as possible in a way to integrate a sustainable approach to the development of garments. Our dedicated sectors are more specifically ready-to-wear, technical clothing, medical clothing, adaptive and inclusive clothing, connected and smart clothing, digital clothing, sustainable development and circularity, and finally, digital transformation. Our objectives are to innovate, to optimize, to develop, to train, and to inform. We address our services to the garment industry, but also to researchers at university and college level, and also to students who are enrolled in fashion-related programs. The services that we offer are applied research, technical and technological consulting and support, technical and technological training, strategic information broadcasting and special events, and we also give access to our technological laboratories and state-of-the-art equipment. Now I will give you a few examples of the different ways technology is involved in our everyday activities. So to start with anthropometric studies, we have been doing such researches since 2014, and we're proud to say that we have
That can also happen.
Yeah, well,
Digital world.
don't we all know it by now?
Yeah.
movement and so on, and they are now fitted with Bluetooth smart sensor. We are also very active in the health sector. Most of our projects aim at collecting data in real time and revealing physical and chemical properties of the body to evaluate wellness. And we also present our yearly event on smart garments known as Wear It Smart. And this year's edition was on health, on the health sector. So intelligent garment to serve the needs in the health sector. We also help companies use 3D development product strategies in order to automate and augment the fashion design processes from the very beginning to its merchandising. So this involves design, pattern making, creation, and so on. And the idea is to speed operations and to use IA as a design partner. I have to say that most of the slides are illustrated with examples that are now generic, that are found on the internet, because unfortunately, because of confidentiality purposes, we are not allowed to reveal the projects that we are developing with our collaborators. We are also involved with production optimization in order to help companies implement a computing environment, implement robotics, and be able to move on with on-demand processes. Basically, it's the scarcity of skilled workers that have pushed many companies to adopt optimization strategies in the last few years. In terms of digital clothing design, we have had the chance to collaborate with gaming companies since 2018. And from these collaborations, we were able to help fashion companies develop virtual reality collections, very much inspired by fashion games. And in terms of digital marketing and merchandising strategies, we are helping companies put together digital fashion shows, interactive virtual showrooms, immersive experiences for consumers, and online sales strategies. Voilà. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's so amazing, so interesting. So we look forward to hear more about it later in this evening. But now, Michelle, would you just take over right now and introduce yourself? Oh.
There. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you very much. You can hear me, I guess. Yeah, Michel Zampa. I'm in charge of the operations of Perfectly in Montreal. We do digital transformation of, and specifically clothing, from data that comes from apparel manufacturers, and we transform them into 3D to be basically provide a 3D experience to help resolve the problem of sizing, seeing how a garment fits. So basically, Perfectly's core solution acts as actually a continuum. So starting with the data that comes from the manufacturer, we can span a different interactive experience. So taking construction data that is used to cut fabric to make a garment, we can use the exact same data and create 3D virtual fitting rooms and also 2D styling dressing rooms if that data is not available. And then continue with that, we can bring it then to the metaverse using a brand retailer's digital data that we would actually help to create as they are true 3D assets. The same data then that Perfectly uses to build out our virtual fitting is used to create unique, unmatched metaverse products such as NFTs and virtual filters. The brand or the retailer can begin to sell these digital assets themselves. So again, the same data that was used to make the garment that is sold in shops can be then actually continue into the metaverse. So those assets themselves, people can use in different ways in different metaverse settings, whether it's in gaming or a playverse like Roblox or dressing their own avatar. And whether these are lifelike or more fanciful. Beyond that, we support metaverse commerce as well, helping the brand retailers set up virtual walk stores, playpens, and experiences that consumers can interact with. Perfectly also supports metaverse adjacent applications like lookbooks, virtual showrooms, AR filters, etc., using brand retailers' core data, which not only helps to address the opportunities today, but also the opportunities of the future. So we were already thinking about this 4 or 5 years ago when we started our work, that these real 3D objects would be able to be used elsewhere. So I'll just show you a few slides, I guess you can see it. So basically, as we operate as a software as a service, so it's a visualization of the garment on a consumer's body. So the consumer's body that is configured in very few, we have different options of measurement. One of them being using one's own smartphone, downloading the Perfectly application. 5 photos later, you're guided through the experience. It's very easy. And we have about a 97% accuracy. So basically using your phone as a 3D scanner. So the problems that we have set out to solve in this visualization solution is to increase sales and conversion rates on online for apparel are terribly low compared to in bricks and mortar. Also, that means reducing returns. We have a significant success, much beyond what we ever even anticipated, in reducing the actual waste that is caused by returns, or and also the economic loss when you pull inventory out of inventory. And increasing sustainability then reduces then the carbon footprint, which is what the consumer is demanding. We have created then, obviously, by default, an omni-channel solution, integrating then online, in-store, and the hybrid continuum. So basically, in terms of the ideal data we would expect, and it would be to have the cutting pattern, which is the data used to cut the fabric. But if not, we can actually use photography. So photography that usually is already existing, and I would say 98% of the work is done by us. There's usually just verification on our partner sites. So basically, we take a garment that is photographed from the front, and then we adapt it. So that is the brand's input. The consumer's input is just a couple of pieces of measurement. The minimum information we would need is the height and waist, and for women, bra size, and a body shape. If not, we can take a few more measurements, and if not, we can use our photo app for that. Then the consumer, when they're on a product page, will have the option to add garments to their fitting room, and then would be able to mix and match and combine garments to create a look, and be able to see how they would look at before buying, but at the same time getting the product, the size recommendation for each. So this wouldn't show the actual size, how it would fit on that person's body, but it would show the style. Our core technology is the 3D visualization. So it permits both a size and style try-on. So basically taking any CAD information, data that is used to create the actual garment, to cut the fabric. So when the collection is ready to be sewn, we can take that exact same data, and then we would reproduce the 3D assets for all sizes. The consumer inputs the same information as earlier, but they're going to be able to create then a 3D avatar that can turn in 360 degrees. Again, there are different input methods, as I mentioned before, so height, waist, and for women, bra size, and either using the body shape or adding more measurements, or using the photo app. The solution then would take those flat patterns, apply then onto your body, and then you're able to, as you would do in normal real life, try on different sizes and see how they adapt to your body and how they drape, change color, and then give you the choice. So complete e-commerce integration. This can be as well, can be shared. More than one person can go shopping together as well. And that 3D object is then transferable elsewhere. And here into the metaverse, as I explained earlier, the brand input again is the same data that goes to the cutting room. So a CAD pattern from any CAD system, a tech pack and artwork. The NFTs then are created from that. So being able to use them and sell them. And being able to create from that interactive lookbooks, fashion shows, walk stores, and playpens. So that's it for I look forward to any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. I already have like 100 questions for both of you, but first let's complete our panel. So Anna, would you take over?
Yeah, thank you. It was quite interesting. For me, I'm a senior designer at the Fabricant. And before I was working in the conventional world as a fashion designer, working several years for Hugo Boss. And we were developing same kind of workflows and wanted to integrate this stuff. And it was quite hard. So my question would be also how can you integrate all these things in several software systems? Because I know we had a lot of supply partners which were not able to jump from one software to the other. But first I introduce myself. Maybe we keep this question for later.
Yes.
So there should be also a small presentation from my side. So first I want to introduce the Fabricant by itself. So I'm going to the next slide already and show you a little clip. Yeah, so as mentioned, I'm a senior designer at the Fabricant, so mainly my responsibility in this kind of video clip, what you saw is like designing garments, creating textures, also overseeing projects with our clients or brand partners, as well as like creating animations, storyboards. So I think actually we're still a company which has a setup where everyone does everything whenever you like want to do it. So even the job roles are like very fluent and wide, and especially as a fashion designer, we have the opportunity like, yeah, to explore more and more the field of the digital world and have the possibility to, yeah, extend our creation process. And coming back to the Fabricant, we are a digital-only fashion brand and started, I think, 2018 around to work with clients, but also collaboration partners. And mainly what we wanted to build is a collaboration platform, which means it's not only like an agency who's providing content to clients. It's more like that we want to interact with our community and build a community where we share our knowledge as transparent space, support each other, and also have the chance, yeah, to build our own fashion ecosystem for the future. And especially talking about this, we launched beginning of this year the Fabricant Studio. You can also go on the website. There actually artists and designers have the chance to upload their own creations, and then as a co-creator, which could become you have the chance to create your unique garment, design your unique garment and minting it, and later owning it as an NFT. Does everyone knows what an NFT is, or probably I'm explaining it? It's a blockchain-based system, which is also, I explain it still in a nerd language, so sorry. But mainly, yeah, you can discover it as like for artists who are creating digital content to have like an ownership via a new contract system, which is a smart contract. And the positive thing about this is if you once like were a designer or an artist who created content, you still keep partly the ownership of your created assets, which helps really like also for artists to get and earn revenue, even they are resales and like primary and secondary sales later on of your designs. And this platform we're actually launching, so also better, instead of describing it, you can really look on our site. It's the fabricant.studio, so you can also ask me later, and it's like a very cool and quite interesting system. By ourselves, the Fabricant, we a team of like around 50 people actually. Half of us as fashion designers who like started to learn like 3D software. Mainly we work with Clothes 3D, if any one of you is fashion designer and wants to know. And the other part is 3D artists. So all the content we're creating actually is always a big team behind. And I think all the content you always see everywhere is like a big team behind. So actually 50 people work on this stuff to make it happen, or even more, because we also work with other studios and agencies together to create this content. So we aim to create photorealistic content with a digital implementation. And I don't have notes, so I wanted to read this thing. We also want to build our own ecosystem. As I mentioned, yeah, we want to collaborate with our partners, with our communities. We also have a Discord channel where we like chat with all our community members and interact with them. And Yeah, I think mainly that's it. And I would like to hand over to Nino. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm Ninou. I'm Ninou Drames. I'm one half of the artist collective OneArt. My partner sits there. We're two people, and we work more freely and more as artists and doing artisty stuff and collaborate with others. But just a small introduction to some of our projects. We combine the 3Ds of 3D, pun intended. We start with digital avatars. We started 2018 with different avatars which we developed. One of them is Android XT, an Android silver model who can be everything you want. And we started to do editorials where we put her into real clothes, the other way around, not people in 3D clothes, but avatars in real clothes. And this is an example where we recreated famous paintings with her in a digital space. Like, how can we translate it to today? Also, we created avatars which are non-humans for a project with artists from Dortmund for the Schauspiel Berlin and Dortmund, where we collaborated in theater piece performance in Mozilla Hub, where you could choose between 3 worlds and had 3 avatars to choose from, where you could go through the worlds as this avatar. The second D is mixed digital. We work a lot of things with real and 3D, so photography and video, combining them together. This project was with Maison de Faux from the Netherlands, which is a creative duo and also a fashion house, but they started to be more like couture art brand, which doesn't sell a lot of clothes, more art pieces. And in this project, we, for Kade Amersfoort, we created 3 icons which are in their world, and we filmed the icons before green screen and blue screen and put them into the world, and wanted to create like moving paintings, and they're moving. Unfortunately, the videos didn't work today, so you can see them on our website. Also, this is Katja Krasowitz, influencer and musician, and this is we did for Tush magazine, also, where we tried to give her a doll look, if you know her. Also, we we created face filters for a music video from Ascendant Vierge from Paris, and collaborated with Golgotha, 3D agency from Paris, and were asked to build a face filter and headpiece, which was integrated into the video. And also we put it on our Instagram to use it every time you want to. This is for a fashion brand, Boy from Mars 1996, where we did the campaign, the photography, the world building, and everything around it. And we also do a little bit of digital fashion. And we started in 2020 during the first lockdown, where we sat in our studio, and we were like thinking what to do with ourselves and with social distancing and how it will impact us, and created a 3D collection where we integrated the masks into the fashion. Like, how can you wear fashion and also have a mask and also be fashionable? Also, the videos, unfortunately, didn't work, so this is also the visualization of this. Also, we did accessories, how to have like sunglasses and also a face shield. At this moment, we didn't know we need the medical masks. Yeah, thanks for listening, and you can see all the stuff there.
Thank you. So thanks all of you for sharing your visions for fashion in XR with us. I think those are very different projects, but it comes all back to the same fascination for fashion, for bringing garments to virtual space, right?
Yeah, also, we worked as creative directors also before in IRL fashion, and created campaigns and everything. So we had this IRL work experience before, and then we went into the 3D more and into the future.
Yeah, but what made you, in the first place, passionate about it being in the digital world?
How the name is like, when I was always like a nerd in school, and also my partner, we were always nerdy, and we loved everything technological and also pop cultural and everything. So this was a no-brainer. At the moment we could think, we started with all technological stuff and some. Is it out? No, okay. If we had time, we developed our skills in this, and 2018 was the year where we made it our passion and our work too.
Yeah,
so interesting.
I killed my microphone, so do I need to press a button or something?
Yeah. Oh, it's on already?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
Ah, hey, hello. Yeah, what was the question? How we explore digital fashion? Yeah, I think, exactly. I think what was for me quite interesting is like coming from the physical world, and I started the exploration in my former company already. We learned like the 3D software, and I immediately took the chance over to start designing in it, because I was like so much faster to visualize my ideas, and it was really fun to recreate physical garments in a digital world. Also to explore how can I trigger it that all my people who are working with me also find it interesting, because you need a lot of knowledge, and also it's quite a lot of work to create this digital sets actually. And then I think over 1 year ago, I had the chance to start at the Fabricant, and here I went a step further, because before I was still very limited. I was always thinking in the physical space still, and now I was seeing okay, we can explore it even more. Gravity defying is one of our keywords what we're using. So how can you explore garments in a digital way? How can you recreate textures actually using liquid, water, light, which you can transfer on texture surfaces? But even, going now a step further, because, we limit less actually, and we really need to find out how much we can extend it, that people still understand what we're doing, because it's like this overlap actually from design to art, which also makes much more fun, instead of just have this agency environment where you need to deliver something to a client, and being actually more collaborative, because we explored that a lot of brands coming to us also during Corona and wanted to get digitized assets, and we were just able to select what we want to do, and also recreate all the things, and saying, hey, we digital only, we don't deliver you anything which you can use for the physical space. So how we want to build this together.
Also, the community is different than, for example, the fashion community. The community is more a community coming from gaming, and also all this nerdy stuff you need to know and all the skill sets you need to know. You can't just take a camera into your hand and make a photo. So this is easier to get. So if you want to have the skill set, you have to learn, you have to put time in it, you have to be connected with others, you need help. You don't just learn it in university, you have to learn it yourself. You need to watch thousands of hours of tutorials and be always on like, what's the new thing, what's the update, what do you need, what do I need, and that's very collaborative. So you can't be like, I just want to have this, and I'm for my own, and like be in my own world. You have to be like with other people and in your community.
Yeah, exactly. I also explored, like, before it was more this toxic environment which you recognize in the fashion industry. So on the one side, you work in a company and it's like very this elbow structure which you discover there. No one wants to share ideas, even they find their inspiration on Pinterest, which is kind of funny.
So true. It's so true.
But then on the other hand, we're also creating garments which waste the environment so dramatically. And everyone wants to extend their wardrobe, actually, because, yeah, as a designer, artist, or like just fashion lover, you want to get new items every season. And also the fashion industry is delivering these items. But we are like so off now, I think, with buying more and more stuff. So
that's a problem.
Yeah. So that's why we really see the potential to like have a platform where you can create now your own garments with the expertise of 3D artists and designers who are creating content, and then create garments which not waste the environment like conventional garments.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, this possibility to be eco-friendly, actually. But let's maybe go back there later, because I think it's really, really interesting to talk about it. But first, Hélène, Michel, what was the spark for you to go into digital fashion? The initial spark.
Should I start, Michel, or do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize for that.
In English, we say Gesundheit.
Yes. Thank you. You know, your question is kind of complex because there are different ways to answer it. I'm wondering if I should answer it from an industry point of view, from a designer point of view, or from my personal point of view. Accordingly with my previous experiences. So can you guide me through that, please?
I think I'd prefer the personal and the designer point of view, because we'll talk later about the industry as an industry, but now I'm interested in the thing that made you go there, or the idea, the inspiration.
Okay, well, you know, my background is in fine arts and art history and communication, and the way I see fashion evolve.
Oh, slight hiccup there.
Currents that have been developing since technology kind of, you know, control of our lives. The emergence of digital fashion, I believe, is expected because, you know, nowadays, especially with the younger generations, people want to have fashion very quickly. They want to be able to express themselves in the moment. They want to be able to communicate their creativity to as many people as possible. So the new technology kind of accelerates needs that people had already. I don't think it is changing the nature of things, but it is certainly making it much more efficient in terms of reach, in terms of complexity, and also in terms of applications. I've been working at Vestec Pro since the very beginning of the center, some 11 years ago, and I see how technology became so important. Wherever you place yourself within the fashion industry, as a designer, as a consumer, as a retailer or a distributor, nowadays, whatever you do has to be done through technology. So I think it's something that we have to learn to live with. Unfortunately, there are companies that are very reluctant to adopt new ways of doing things because, they see obstacles in terms of financing their projects, in terms of implementing new ways of working, in terms of training their employees. But I think that very shortly they will find that if they don't jump in the train, very quickly they will find themselves obsolete. And during the pandemic, we saw that many of those smaller companies that were reluctant to change, were forced to close down their operations.
Yeah.
I don't know if my answer makes sense, but I think technology is something that we have to embrace.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, and a very interesting point. So how important is education about it? But first, I want to hear from Michelle. What was your initial starting point, your personal starting point there?
Basically a problem of buying things online and having to send them back because they don't fit or they don't look good. And in Canada, just like in Germany in the wintertime, even going into a store in normal times is not easy to go buy clothes. You have to deal with too many people. You're wearing your winter coat and your winter boots, and then you have to go and you want to try on something and you've got to take all your clothes off and put them on, and you want to try something else, you got to put your clothes back on, go out, get it. This kind of the idea that you can go, that you have in your hand technology that can bring or resolve this problem, through technology. And the idea is, I want to try something on. It's on me, only me, nobody else. And so if it doesn't fit, I'm not going to buy it. Or maybe I'll buy something else if I'm going in a shop and I can scan the QR code and mix and match and try stuff. And it just makes life so much easier, and you have time to do more things. And also you're not wasting things. Things aren't being delivered. Now, how many companies talk about, their clients buy 3 sizes of the same garment, and then, just because they want to try it on at home. It's so selfish. Try to resolve that and try to get rid of. So that's how 3D. I've been working in actual 3D garments since 1990. I would say 1998. The very first 3D pattern making software was invented in Montreal, and I actually have a degree in Germanistic, German literature, and I was selling technology for clothing, and because I was going to get a job with the government, and I tried it for 6 months and quit, and then had to reevaluate my life, and so international sales, why not? And they had me building 3D garments to show to clients how it worked, and it was amazing. Much simpler, and but this is on a regular computer at the time. And again, the idea is at the time was to make something to create a sample, so you don't need to make real samples, and that then jumped over to the retail side to facilitate how does it look on me and how does it fit, and can I see the stretch and see how it falls. I've been in, I think, 3D before I even knew I was in 3D, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, quite an interesting journey.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, Elaine, you said that the fashion industry is kind of reluctant to this digital form that's up and coming. So, my question would be, do you need to kind of educate companies before you pitch the product to them?
Yes, exactly. You need to educate companies. Normally you would think that companies would be educated through their relationships with consumers and customers. But unfortunately, many of I'm talking for the Montreal fashion industry mostly. The core of our fashion industry is very traditionalist and very conservative. And, they believe that because a formula has been working for so long, it's going to be good for another 20 years or so. And also in Quebec, mostly companies have the tendency to rely on financial aid. There are many programs supporting changes in companies, whether it has to do with buying equipment or training employees or implementing new processes. So, it's basically our governments that are supporting the technical implementation of, the implementation of this new technology. As a research center, one of our goals is to help companies, adopt to new ways of working. And regularly, we're going to present conferences to the industry in order to make them aware of the possibilities and, try to bring them to date with what's happening in other important cities around the world. But at the same time, we have in Montreal very innovative sectors, and mostly in terms of the medical garments, technical clothing, anything that has to do with adaptive or inclusive garment. So I guess that Montreal kind of repositioned itself through specific niches, as opposed to, try to perpetuate a long tradition of doing ready to wear that, as we know, is made available for much cheaper in Asian countries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. That's the help from your government is something that's amazing to me. Is it the same in Germany? What's your experience with that? Do you have any help there?
I think what was also important is when you are a big company, you have the possibility to get this in this sustainable DAX thing in. So if you listed there, you also have some benefits from the German government, but I'm actually not so much into this system. I think for companies, for example, like Hugo Boss or Adidas, it was also just reducing the consumption during the production, very necessary. And this was mainly why we started digital development in our company before. Just to reduce the amount in general of during the prototype phase, and also for showrooms. And so far until then we didn't manage to integrate it also in online shops. So this is why it's so interesting to also hear how this is actually working, because to create this assets is so much work behind, and also for a design team you need to earn the knowledge how to use it, but also train the eye of your team members that they even willing to see this stuff, because fashion industry is very old-fashioned. People want to have something physical in their hands, and they even don't understand what digital garments are. And I think here's a younger generation really stepping in and not questioning actually digital assets. It's just it's not even the exploration. It's they do gaming, or they're using AR, they use social media, and it's just a side part next to regular fashion.
Yeah, I think also. And also fashion is like now trying to get into the trend, but it's not new. And everybody, also the established brands, luxury brands, try to grab like everyone to get some cool stuff out because they're not cool anymore. Let's face it, it's the truth. It's like it's showing off money or status. And with this digital fashion and all this background from gaming, you break into this system, and now everybody's like, what do we do now? Should we invest? Shouldn't we? How it will be in the future? And as you said, for the new generation, there's no question. It's a generational problem, and also in fashion, there are a lot of old people. Like, not be discriminating, but if you're used to have like fabric in hands, and I studied fashion design and communications design, I know how it feels and how important this is. But it can be like there, and you can also have digital fashion. But I have the feeling the conventional fashion industry just can't grasp it. Like for prototyping, yes, that's okay. But for fashion to wear it, it's a problem. And we know that Shein and all the very big companies are polluting the planet, and the social media did it part, so all the holes, all the girls buying stuff just to wear it once and then send it back, or just not wearing it. And you have all the cheap clothes which land on a landfill and have no purpose. So there's the gap where you can go in and say, if I have a digital fashion garment, I can wear it once and then I can resell it. And it's not polluting the environment like a physical thing. And I think people have to understand that's a big chance to do new stuff and to change the industry.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing thought. I think it was on your website where I read we don't waste anything but data, and we don't exploit anything but our imagination, creativity. What was it?
Yes, exactly. This is one of our slogans we really like to say. Especially with digital fashion, you reduce the environment wastage, and you even have the chance to explore yourself more and better just by using once an article co-created probably later on. So actually we're still in the beginning of this phase of the exploration, and the beautiful thing is that we can do this actually together, because we're actually inviting everyone to be part of it, joining our community and discover this world new. And we don't want to have the system of just monetizing new articles and having this fashion cycle where we wasting even our ideas for each season. It should be something which we create together to build something where we have the possibility to even extend our creativity and even see how we can trigger fashion from a different aspect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, Michelle, you said it earlier, that it's a goal not to have a lot of garments shipped around the world just to send it back again. So this fits as well, right? And so sustainability is obviously an amazing opportunity here, right? But what's missing? What do we need? What technical stuff do we need? What kind of interfaces do we need for that?
Start. It's okay.
So I think there is enough for all of us. As mentioned, we're actually in the beginning, and you even need to learn a lot of things, but also technology-wise. I think from our part, it's you need a mobile device to wear actually digital fashion. You can wear it on your images, which you provide somewhere, and Photoshop it on top. This could be a use case. You can do it via AR filters. You can buy digital art, which is also kind of like a collection you do also in the physical world. If you collect handbags or shoes, it's kind of the same. You also have them mostly in your wardrobe, but not using them. So this is not an excuse to have not a digital wardrobe, actually, which you cannot wear. So yeah, technology-wise, it's running actually quite fast, because if I look like 1 year ago, even AR technology was not on the state as it is now. And we actually work together with like software engines which invest a lot, like in artists and designers who explore the software and giving the possibility for free to use the software and even find new solutions to create high quality content without having a device which has like a massive graphic card which you normally need to create photorealistic imagery.
I think the ideas are faster than the technology at the moment, they're driving the technology. So you have the ideas, you demand the technology, and the technology is like developed simultaneously. Like I think if the AR glasses will come out, that will be a very, very big game changer for that. I think it's like changing every minute, every day. It's like we talked before, like the Wild West. It's like very fast, very chaotic, but nice, because you can form the world. We're creating a new world, and we are like part of it, and it's very interesting and exciting, but it's really, you have to have a big imagination for it and ideas, and like start to develop, and the technological side will come, because a lot of engines or software is free now for everybody, so everybody can join if they want to.
Yeah. You said earlier that there's something, for some people there's the haptics of it missing. So wouldn't be something like what Elaine said, smart garments be a solution there to build a bridge there?
I think we're a little bit away from digital only. I think now it's more the gap between digital and real world. There are a lot of things you can buy as a digital NFT, and you get like the physical counterpart. There is stuff, smart clothing as well, and we will also need clothes in the future. It's not like we will be naked and there won't be clothes anymore. It will be like a parallel thing, but we have to think about wearing fashion not so fast and so much, and maybe more vintage clothing or more timeless stuff, and not to pollute and stop the waste. That's the problem, and I don't think it will be like just digital. We need clothes, but it will be more digital in the future. Our lives will be in the metaverse in, I think, 5 years.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I think there is also technology running to get more haptic in. They're like hand shoes and so on.
And also scent.
Yeah. But I'm also thinking of like smelling due to TV. It was always a thing like people were talking about, but we still don't miss it that much to smell everything you watch actually via your computer. Sometimes it's really missing, but how can you even explore like feelings? Because also how you transfer these feelings actually, which you're missing when you're not joining an event in real life. And also this we need to translate. So there are several aspects which we need to reconsider and recreate actually in the digital world, and I think we don't need to compare everything like particular. So yeah, just like trying out and like deconstruct maybe even like what is feeling on your skin, what is feeling in your brain, and then try to like cover it maybe with a visual item or
Interesting question, kind of a philosophical question. Do you think digital fashion will affect our identities in the metaverse?
Yes, for sure. For sure.
And not only, you created avatars. I think this is also very interesting. How would you look if you create your own avatar?
You can be like everything.
I saw spiders already, like in Decentraland. Like.
Yeah, you can be everything. You can be nothing, or like the avatars we did for Mozilla Hub. One is just rocks. The other one is like a robot. The other one is moss. Like, you can be everything. And also, you don't have to be like men or women. Like, you don't have to be a human, you can be everything. And so identity won't be defined from your outer experience in the real world. You can be anything.
I think also it's a chance to explore genders actually and gender roles in this new metaverse. And I think I see already a lot of men like want to try on like a female body, I can imagine.
First thing.
Yeah, or a genderless body, right? So.
Yes. And also like, colors, hair, everything, even exploring like animal features. And then we can go a step further. There's already like a lot happening if you see like the space is actually running, and it's quite interesting to see what people like most. And I think it's like light effects and like different skin colors is like very popular actually.
Yeah, and also like in the real world, you have clothes which have to be warm and function with the physics in the world, and fashion is something, as well as like avatars, something totally free. You can create crazy stuff you can't do in the real world.
Yeah, and actually feel comfortable in whatever you create, right?
Yeah.
So it's totally up to you. That's an interesting thought. So, Hélène, Michelle, what do you guys think about that?
Well, if I may, I would like to rebound on what our colleagues said a few minutes ago.
Sure.
You know, technology very often is looked at as a way to save the world, and very often it is looked at as a more sustainable way of developing products or, developing processes. But at the same time, technology is very energy demanding. And it is, the equipments that we use are releasing carbon dioxide in a very high, very important way in the atmosphere. So, I wouldn't say that it's going to solve all our ecological problems. And I believe that there will always be room for physical garments and more traditional ways of approaching them. But I think what we have to find is kind of a balance between the two. And at Vestec Pro, we always say that technology and sustainability have to be addressed together at the same time. And it is true that, the younger generations are buying garments in a very different way. They do consume digital garments in the metaverse, but at the same time, they also enjoy shopping in the secondhand clothing stores. And by 2030, there will be more sales of second-hand clothes than there are sales of fast fashion. So it is a promising avenue. Also, at the same time, yes, technology gives you lots of freedom to express yourselves, to see yourselves as an avatar and dressed in different ways. But I can compare this idealizing process to what the previous generations used to do when they were flipping through the pages of glossy magazines. It's the same idea of trying to portray yourselves or see yourselves in a better way, in an idealized way. It's just that the means for doing it has evolved, and with technology, obviously, you have much more control on your creativity, and you feel that you are in possession of ways to create a new self. But at the same time, because it is made available to so much more people, you lose in terms of the control. So you have control on the process, but you lose control in terms of, sending the message across. I mean, because you are basically addressing the whole world as opposed to addressing a much smaller group of people some 20 or 25 years ago. So it's all sorts of issues to be thought about in the next few years. And then I think we are at the crossroad. We're just, trying to figure out how to use technology best and what to keep of what we have created so far that could still be sustainable in the next 50 years or so.
Yeah, fair point, of course. I think for me, a lot of my fascination with extended reality in general is that I'm allowed to have my own agency there. And so it's very appealing to me, this thought of expressing myself there and having total control about it. So, Michel.
Yeah, I mean, just extended is the key word. And I think, we're still going to need to wear clothes because in Canada anyway, you can't not wear clothes because you'd freeze to death. But the idea is that, there's a continuum and we completely embrace that expansion. And that's why you said it's extended. It's not going to just move over and take, and forget the rest. It's impossible. And so, the technology we've developed is creating assets for the real world and for the digital world and in between, because when you're going to be trying on something for the actual function of seeing if it fits me, so you don't screw up your order and order the wrong thing, you're going to be ordering something real. Yet you can continue with that, and there are other items that you would like that you maybe can't afford or you just don't need to have as much, and you're conscious of that you can continue wearing, but elsewhere, and it just completes your persona. But exactly like Helen said earlier, that it's a kind of like a fantasy of what we had by looking at fashion magazines as well and imagining ourselves. And what's really interesting is that we've developed an avatar that you could superimpose your face on, and you could put makeup on and put your hair on, and nobody liked it. And so we just chopped off the head because people don't want to see their body. They don't want to see their face. And this proves that they want to see something else. They want to fantasize. And so you got to give them that possibility to do that. But even if you're buying something for the sake of not screwing up your order, even if you're doing that, you should be in control of how much fantasy you put into it and how much you can explore even your dreams and your plans and what you expect out of life, and make choices based on your own needs. And the idea of co-creation, I mean, that's everywhere. It's in beauty as well. You're co-creating your own product, but giving the consumer, I'm the creator. I give you the means to put stuff together, so you actually help me create together. So it could be food is the same thing. I mean, it's so many aspects of life, architecture.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had a lot of food for thought tonight, I think. I'd like to open this discussion to our audience so that we have some questions that are not just from this panel. So whoever would like to ask our panelists something, please feel free. And of course, our online community as well.
In English? Probably yes. Okay. Do you have any literature that you can recommend to read on this theme? I don't know, articles or books or something like that.
Wow. I read a lot, but it's just online. But that would be, maybe we can talk afterwards and I can but online articles and stuff, but I don't think I read a book about it. And maybe, no, I don't know.
I think also
actually it's quite fast ongoing, that even if you write a book, it's like gone after 1 or 2 years. Actually, we received a book at the Fabricant, like about the metaverse, and we were mentioned in it, and we were like, okay, that's super cool, but like in 1 year, it's even not like reconsiderable again. But yeah, it's really cool. I don't know.
It's more research. I think there's a lot of articles, and you have to like find the studios and stuff, I think, in the social media world. And research.
I know, for example, like our VFX artists read also a lot of books about lighting, if this is also something you think. There's like a lot of like studying light and studying like other physical aspects if you create renderings, colors and everything. So this could be like a very good lecture if
like, it helps to, I mean, 3D is like knowing stuff about video, about photography, about sculpting, like everything from 2D to 3D. If you can scribble like your first ideas and then bring it to the program. If it's more like practical stuff, there's a ton of help out there. If the philosophy of this, I don't know. I just read articles, and I think maybe someone is thinking about it and writing stuff about this more on this side, but I think I'm just more on the practical side. So there's really endless help out there.
Maybe even it could be another evening about talking about books, and are there still books being written about something that's that fast growing? But you know, for another evening maybe. Next question, please.
Hello. I was wondering, since you have so many opportunities in how you can design these kind of fashion items, and currently it's like you can do anything, you said, like water as a material or whatever. So how do you find out, or how do you get feedback on designs? How do you decide if a design is good or bad? Do you have an audience, or how do you test it, or how do you currently find out if these kind of fantastic, cool, arty kind of designs are really successful, or somehow get good feedback, or somehow are interesting to a specific audience?
Yeah, I think this is quite important, like not to losing the track to like ask for like feedback all the time. So also for us, we're using internally Slack, and we just post like ideas we have and share them with like our team, and then getting feedback there. I think in general what makes us so unique is that we really try to recreate also like photorealistic imagery, which means like we have this intersection of like surfaces which are highly realistic, and then in combination with like digital aspects which you could never create in the physical world. And I think this was a success actually of the Fabricant in the beginning, and why it was so appealing to the market, that this high realistic thing, and then the combination of like also using a fashion designer made it very powerful in combination with a 3D artist and VFX artist. So mixing all those parts together also helped to create like feedback rounds from several parts, and like I still have it when I create something from the fashion design part, that I always love to get also the opinion from my VFX artist, just to see a bit more like how can I influence it with the environment and light settings.
And how do you take into account that there are different kind of metaverse platforms with different kind of design styles? So you have maybe a low poly environment in Decentraland, or you have a, I don't know, super photorealistic kind of metaverse somewhere else. So
that's a really good question, and I think this is also like actually I'm also responsible for the implementation in several metaverses actually at the Fabricant, and discovering like how to integrate, like we have our photorealistic assets as NFTs, so we do this high quality rendering that people can own these garments in their own collection, so it's more collectible. But for sure there's also desire to wear like this assets actually. And not every one of us has like this computer with a big graphic machine where you can run even Cyberpunk. So even there you need like a machine already which costs like several €1,000, which is kind of funny. So yeah, the integration and to create a pipeline actually from high realistic, high poly models to low poly models is quite tricky, and it's still like a manual a workflow behind. So it's even that we create our high realistic garments first in a high poly model, and then someone is taking over and model it again in Blender to create the low poly model, because it's even not possible to translate it between them. So we actually try to develop several tools behind it, for example with Houdini to retopo certain aspects, but still like the limitation for Decentraland are so low, and also the aesthetic is so quite different compared to Sandbox. But there's also like Unreal Engine, there's Ready Player Me, who's even involving a higher quality actually, which makes it also more interesting for us to develop garments. So actually it's still like a very much manual phase. And I hope we can improve it during the next years. It's like very promising because we now work on it all together. And yeah, let's see. I really hope that we have like more quality garments and not only like this low poly thing, which is also then interesting to like create very fast assets probably if you just want to jump in this metaverse. Makes it also good for like designers and artists who actually didn't have the chance to step their feet like in this fashion industry and create actually low poly garments, for example, for Decentraland, which they can sell there on the marketplace. So there's even like a new niche where you can develop yourself as a creator.
Yeah, I think it will develop now because the programs need to do stuff to make it easier, like tools, and also the metaverses have to help to integrate it, and also in the future there should not be borders, the barriers should be gone, and that will be also a problem which has to be solved. And yeah, I think it's like in the beginning, and I think every month everything will change.
But even if you have questions on this topic, it's also very helpful to join Discord channels like ours, because we also try to be transparent on this like workflow, because also with our platform we want to build our community that they're able to create this content for all metaverses. So we share our knowledge, but we also like interact with people who know how to create these things, and that's also quite cool.
Thanks a lot. It was very impressive, the story behind, and super, super nice. And the question from my side is like, how can I join the page? How can I join Metaverse? What is the easiest way to get in to see the fashion, what you're creating? Can you help?
Yeah, I think the internet in general, I think we think so far beyond when we talk about the metaverse, but it's actually in the internet already there. It's also on social media. So you can explore digital fashion either on Instagram by using filter. We also have some filters on Snapchat because the technology is a bit more far. You can create like higher quality garments or masks on Snapchat actually. So you have the chance to explore it there. Or yeah, the next step is, I would say, to create a wallet, and then you can join Decentraland, which is a very easy platform. All the other things are actually in the building, and I think the most people explore it actually on Twitter, because a lot of people talk on Twitter about this NFT community thing, and just to find like something which is matching to your aesthetic can help to like find a Discord channel at the end with a community. You can explore the thing. So we have our Discord channel. A lot of like digital artists have their own Discord, and this is always quite helpful because the community is like very interactive and also welcome new people. So whenever you have very easy and basic questions, especially in the beginning, you can be free like to ask them there and like really find your way to make your first step there.
And if you want to, like, there are 2 apps, I think, or more, but 2 famous apps to try on. It's DressX and 010. which have like a digital wardrobe. You can buy on the websites outfits and try them on, and can send also photos, and they send you the photoshopped photo back. So that's a first way also to get into the fashion, to wear it. To do it, it's another thing. There you have to start learning programs.
Yes, if you want to do it by yourself, there are a lot of tutorials, especially like for Cloth 3D, and also there the community is like quite interactive with each other. So just use YouTube and Google for Cloth 3D, and yeah, I saw very impressive steps from fashion designers starting 1 year ago and already like pros in it, which is quite cool.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you very much. I suppose it's more of a comment than a fully formed question, but listening to you guys, as well as feeling very old, there's also a moment where there's just a kind of moment of thinking, we're talking about, I think you mentioned being in the metaverse in 4 or 5 years, living mostly there, and you've also mentioned a lot of barriers to actually being able to design or be active on it. And I can never remember the exact stat, but it's about 1 in 3 in the world's population haven't even been on the internet at this stage. So what I wonder is kind of like, how do we make it, or what would you see as the needed steps to make it more open access? Because at the moment, it feels very much like it's just getting narrower and narrower, and there'll be 3 people, one of them will be scary, and they'll take over the world. So I just wonder, how could you see it, not necessarily for myself, because I'm past it and can't be bothered, but for younger people coming through in education, what needs to change to enable a bit more wider access?
I think when I say in 5 years, it's not like everybody will be in Decentraland or stuff. The metaverse is also living with social media and have these apps. We already live in the metaverse, like Zoom and stuff. And with the pandemic, it was more implemented in our lives, and it will be more. And it will be from the corporate side. There will be meetings, and like there are ideas to have studios or companies just in the metaverse. So you will be at home and in your home office and can, with your avatars, interact with your colleagues. Like stuff like that will be more implemented in our daily lives, I think. And the game aspect is also like, I think 3 billion people on the planet are gamers, like all have played a game. So it's a huge industry. It's a bigger industry than film or music. So I think people forget this, and I think that's the biggest appeal for everybody to join, and baby steps. But it's there if you want to go to the metaverse, like there are, and every day and every month there will be new ones, and barriers, we don't know how it will work, so I'm not really a technician, but they work on it so that it will be like the internet, but in living it, like being in the internet physically. That's what they tell us.
Yeah, and maybe from my understanding, it's also mentioned that it's very privileged that we actually join this kind of metaverse because we have access to computers and yeah, other countries or people even not have this opportunity. So will they stay behind at the end because we develop quite fast an environment which is just accessibility actually for a certain amount of people. But what I think actually it's giving more the possibility also for smaller accounts to build an eco and revenue system overall, and this is what I hope. And then there's also several projects actually which are going more in the charity direction, and even like with creating NFTs, which are like generated maybe 10,000 pieces and then sold them for a certain amount and investing them back like to artists or even other like donation systems could be something we should consider more and more, I think, also in the future, because yeah, there's like people we want to enable. And I think also with digital fashion, actually, as mentioned, designers who even not be able to get the education on a university because they don't have the money, have access to the internet and can learn and explore it by themselves. There's no longer like this ban of a certain amount of people which don't have like the access of it. And I explored it by myself. It's so much easier to go into, and also with our community, we have like members all over the world who would not have the possibility to expose themselves. So I hope that we build a future which is like more positive and inclusive, definitely.
I think that's a very good question, and goes into other areas as well, right? Not only fashion, but experiencing something from another point of view. For example, for documentaries, for building empathy with certain groups of people who haven't been heard before. So I think it's very interesting, and we have another event coming up, actually, where we will. Thank you so much for the question. Where we'll be talking about the social impact of XR, or is there already a social impact? Does it cater to enough people? Can we speak of it really impacting everybody or just a certain group of people? So it will be in 2 weeks' time, June 29th, also here in Hamburg, and of course also online. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of inclusion, it was like a wonderful introduction for my question, because I was wondering some months ago, I guess, I saw some algorithms which were developed for Snapchat filters and some stuff like this, and they also worked on cats or pets faces. So how far is the industry thinking about including other beings in the wardrobe section, and also with like digital influencers like Sierra Vega, which is like a completely artificial intelligence made up influencer. How far stretch is it that maybe also at one time also artificial intelligence become like the target group of maybe of digital garment?
Wow, crazy.
Ooh,
that's cool.
That's really some future stuff.
I would love to see it and do it. I think, first of all, AI is mostly, is it AI or AR you mentioned? AI. Yeah, I think this is quite interesting. People are like getting anxiety mostly when they hear AI, because they think like something is taking over our brain and like recreating something, and then you even don't need designers or artists to create content, which might be true.
Might be true.
We don't know. But it's also like, I see it more like, okay, I don't need to learn everything by myself. Some machine is doing it, and then I'm like just filling it with my like content of my brain, my ideas, and it's recreating something cool. So this would be a cool aspect. So yeah, I think your question is more like a discussion how we can explore it even more and like bringing more ideas in.
Yeah. I read something like the chatbot of Google became sentient today. So we're there already, I think. And that would be a totally new market, I think. Something totally crazy, but maybe not. Maybe not so far in the future. We will see if we have like AI, which is very sentient, and singularity will kick in.
Yes, and then like, yeah, again, recreating yourself in the metaverse and exploring it even more. Like when you go to a fashion gala, then you have the, already like you want to dress yourself in like beautiful gowns and like garments. And now, yeah, we can do it more by ourselves and also create this stuff by ourselves, hopefully in the future.
And what if the AI becomes the artist?
Yeah, that could be. If it's sentient, it's then it has an own personality. So maybe we have AI stars then to love and to follow.
You see a lot of sparkling eyes up here. But I think a lot of people will be scared by the thought, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows where it goes? And I think we've already established it's rapid development in every aspect of this field, right? So who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, we built this. We built this together now. We have the chance. That's cool.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, also just be responsible, I think.
Oh,
Have
yes.
good ethics and try to build a better place, not a worse place.
Yeah. So.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I like to know when I'm wearing digital garment and in augmented reality, I always just look good when I'm around naked because my clothes are under the digital garment. So do you have a solution for the future, or that I maybe can here wear my digital garment, or can I just wear it at home where I'm nearly naked?
Oh, maybe also because it was this inclusive thing which I also want to mention. Actually, with like considering also different body shapes in the metaverse, we try to create a more inclusive space that you like. It doesn't matter any longer how you look. So we also created like several shapes for avatars. And yes, also for this AR section, it's still a lot of manual work to have like this size system actually, which would fit then to each body type, as well as to fit on all of your garments. So for the design process, you really need to consider what kind of garment you can create, which is like a bit shapeless or like off shape, which fits then to more body types at the end, or even like we have one garment which you also find on Snapchat, which is like a feminine like corset, which also not fits that well then on this part here. So it's a new design process which is behind, and I think it's also really new design, rethinking design, and creating stuff for this world also from a fashion perspective, which is coming from the physical.
And also the technology, if it evolves, it would be better. I think that's really something which is in combination with AR and VR. How is the technology? Will it look better on your body? Now I know if you use the AR apps, it looks quite funny. If you Photoshop it, it's okay. You can, if it's not like very showy what you have of voluminous under your garment, you have to have like very tight stuff on to look it good. So yeah, I think that will change with the technology.
So any more questions for our panel? No.
Cool. You can also ask questions afterwards. I stay here.
We're here.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Thanks to our two panelists from Canada. Thank you, Hélène. Thank you, Michel, for being with us and for your point of views and for your insights. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. And of course, thank you too for being here. And I think we'll have a lot to discuss later. And of course, you are all welcome to join us here and talk, network, and enjoy the evening. Thank you for joining us via YouTube or wherever you're watching. And have an amazing evening. And consider joining us for our next event, June 29th. It's going to be about social impact of VR, XR, and everything that might be touched by it. Thank you.
Thank you.